Here are 10 different journaling prompts that you can use during fall and winter, but of course during any time of the year, in order to help you identify and execute release and regeneration. You can use these prompts just as they are, but you can also think about narrowing your focus to one of the 7 areas of life and then applying these prompts in a more narrowed focus. But let's go ahead and dive into number 1. Number 1 is going to be, what habits or routines do I no longer find fulfilling or that are no longer serving a purpose in my life, and why? You want to make sure that in self-care and personal development that your routines are targeted. This is going to save you a lot of time, as well as allow you the opportunity to balance your nervous system, not doing too much, not doing too little. You want to identify areas that you can open up for more to come in. If you're continuing to use routines or practices that are no longer serving you, then it's holding up space that could be used in more targeted, quicker, easier, or just practices that are better fit for you where you currently are. Number 2 is going to be, what emotional baggage or negative thought patterns am I willing to let go of? Many times when you're in a season of change or transition, you're going to be identifying aspects of your experience, perhaps emotional or things like thoughts and beliefs that are not serving you well, and you want to begin letting go of those. It may not happen overnight, but the quicker that you identify what it is that you'd like to let go of, you can begin taking those proactive steps to engaging in the processes of release and regeneration. Number 3, what clutter, physical or mental, can I begin letting go of in order to make room for opportunities for more? You'll notice that your environment very much has an influence on your emotional and mental energy. You'll find that when you begin to release clutter from different areas of your life, maybe you have like a little corner or a table in your home that you just throw everything on, you'll find that when you free that up, you'll have more mental, emotional room cleared up. You'll also find that if you let go or donate things that you no longer use, or throw away broken things that you have around your home, this will also shift the energy in your environment and shift the energy within you as well. Number 4 is, how can I nurture my inner being to ensure that I'm taking care of my emotional and mental well-being? This would also suppose that you have identified where you're out of balance. So if you're interested in working with this one, let's split it down into 2. First, identify where you are specifically emotionally and mentally out of balance, and then think about activities, exercises, practices that you can consistently engage in that will support you in those areas where you feel lack or imbalance. And as always, you want to make sure that you're actually engaging in those practices. You're not going to get the benefits of those practices if you're not actually doing them. If you are someone who has said, I want to engage in self-care practices, I want to engage in personal development practices, I want to engage in metaphysical practices, but you find that you are having difficulty committing, then you should think about joining Sacred Sunday Space. This is my self-care session that I host twice a month through Patreon. We engage in mindfulness, meditation, EFT, yin yoga, yoga nidra, journaling, goal setting. I try to switch it up so every session has its own theme and collection of activities. But if you would like to dive in deeper, make sure to check the description box below and check out my Patreon. Check out the group Sacred Sunday Space and the Dark Art Self-Care series. But let's go ahead and move on to the next journaling prompt. Number 5 is going to be, in what ways can I release stress and tension in preparation for a season of renewal and transformation? Stress and tension build up in your body in a variety of ways. If you're particularly focused on your personal development journey in this period of your life, you may be engaging in a lot of doing, and it's important to recognize balance. A lot of doing, a lot of focus means a lot of tension, a lot of tightness building up, not only in the physical body, but in the mental body and the emotional body as you prepare yourself for that action, as you are weighing your progress, if you have achieved that goal, if you have not, if you need to pivot, if you need to do this, if you need to do that. but it's important to balance that out with practices of release and non-doing. So you really want to think about in what ways are stress and tension built up in your life, in your physical body, in your mental body, in your emotional body, and what practices can you engage in order to release that tension and that stress to make room for opportunities for more. Number 6 is going to be, what grudges or regrets am I now willing to let go of? Grudges and regrets, both of these take up a lot of mental, emotional energy within the body-mind complex. These things I also like to think about when I'm thinking of shadow work. The shadow is the aspect of the psyche where we relegate parts of our personality that we deem unfit to be pulled into the light of consciousness, of awareness. And we think that we put these things behind us, or that we just will ignore them and they will go away. But really they operate from behind the scenes. Say if you don't like someone or you don't like something that they did, now every time they come around, you're changing your behavior from what you would naturally do or what you would naturally say in order to fit this situation. So you're not operating from your most authentic place. When you are willing to let go of the grudges and the regrets, it's giving you the space and the opportunity to behave and to engage in the world more authentically. Number 7 is, what self-limiting beliefs or doubts can I release in order to make room for self-empowerment and self-love? If you're thinking about your personal development, your self-care, many times we think about this from a top-down approach. We have habits or actions that we are engaging in that we find are not supporting our goals. But if we go down, we'll find that the root of it is a belief or a thought. So if you want to stop certain self-limiting habits, self-sabotaging habits, it's important to identify the belief systems that are the structures and the support of those habits, and then begin dismantling them and letting those go. Number 8, how can I accept uncertainty and change in my upcoming season? When we think about self-care and personal development and transformation, we often forget that there is going to be a period of change, a period of uncomfortability, a period of I need to do things that I don't want to do in order to get to new places or places where I have never been before. So that means that there's going to be a lot of chaos, there's going to be a lot of change. How are you going to deal with that change? And it's important for you to not only know that it's coming, but to expect that it's coming. If you think about these things now, they won't be able to catch you off guard later. Have a plan and work that plan. Number 9 is going to be, what dreams or goals have become stale or unattainable, and how can I rekindle that fire and that passion? So if you have goals that have become unattainable or stale, or they're just no longer in alignment with where you want to go, always keep in mind, where do I want to be, where am I, and how am I getting there? Now, no, at any point in time, you can shift, you can change, you can go off course, you can completely shift things around and give yourself that freedom and that flexibility to do so. But it's important to keep that end goal in mind as you evaluate and reevaluate. If you notice that you have goals or you have things, you have passions that were once fulfilling for you and now they're not, you have goals that don't align with where you want to go, it's okay. Acknowledge it, because that gives you just the freedom and the freshness and the quickness to go ahead and make that quick change, that quick pivot. And number 10 is going to be, what self-care practices and rituals can I establish right now in my life in order to prioritize my well-being and honor? I think during the fall and winter, many people are inside, and this gives you the perfect opportunity to do your inside work. Think about ways, areas, experiences in your life that have destabilized you, that are causing you to not prioritize your honor and your well-being, and then think about, okay, well, what is it that I actually need, and what practices, what rituals, what tools can I consistently engage in that I have the time for, that fit my lifestyle, and that address my needs, that I can begin engaging in now in order to give myself that balance. If you are watching this video in the fall or the winter, this is the perfect opportunity to let go, to release, to relax, and to engage in these practices. That way, when the spring, summertime comes up, you're ready to roll. That you have enjoyed these journaling prompts. If this information interests you and you're actually ready to get to the doing, not just talking the talk, but walking the walk, and engaging in a lot of self-care and metaphysical practices, please consider joining Sacred Sunday Space. This is my private virtual self-care group that I host twice a month through Patreon. We engage in yin yoga and using affirmations. We engage in journaling and yoga nidra and mindfulness meditation and so many practices that support your well-being, your personal development, and your goal achievement. I'm going to include that information in the description box below. Go ahead and check it out, and while you're down there, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you don't miss any future videos. And in the meantime, here are 2 more videos that YouTube thinks that you would enjoy.